Move on to the men's rugby. All right. Pool A for men. All right. We are starting off. We got Ireland. We got New Zealand, Japan, and South Africa. And we finally were able to get the rosters for everybody. So let's break this down respectively. All right. First off, for Ireland, you're going to be captaining by Harry McNulty. He's a veteran in this. I think this might be his first Olympics. I don't remember Ireland being in it before. I think this might be their first Olympics. And if I'm wrong, please correct me in the comments. It's okay. I don't always research very well. But this has been a tough team. They've won at least one HSBC Sevens tournament. I feel like it was London that they might have won. I don't remember exactly. So they're a tough-nosed team, but they're not, traditionally known for their 7-speed. Coming in with them, they got Zach Ward, Terry Kennedy, Niall Comfort, Mark Roche, who is a veteran at this, Jordan Conroy, who is considered one of the fastest rugby players in the game. I remember whenever it was him and Brian Habana, people were trying to figure out, and Carlin Isle, people were trying to figure out who's the fastest between the three. Obviously, it was Carlin, like, who were we trying to say? But Jordan Conroy is right up there, breakaway speed. Following up, Jack Kelly, Hugo Lennox, Hugo Keenan, Greg Mullen, Shay Mullins, Andrew Smith, and then coming in at Travel Reserve, Sean Cribben and Brian Mullen. Again, formidable team. They got good, solid talent, again, good speed on the edge. But, what they're able to do with it is going to depend because they're still going up against a tough squad. You got New Zealand now. New Zealand men going to be led up by Scott Curry. Now, this New Zealand Sevens team is a little different. Obviously, Tim Mathaford, who was the captain for the Sevens team in the last Olympics, he retired out. He lost a lot of veteran leadership, I believe, in this one, but I mean, it's still a formidable team because it's New Zealand. You never underestimate New Zealand, even though I don't think they played that well during the HSBC Sevens tournament. But you got a solid team. Tupea Cook Savage, Moses Leo, Reagan Ware, Leroy Carter, Brady Rush, solid veteran right there. Negroni, McGarvey Black, Fehi Finaganofu, who is a newbie, young cat. So this is energy games here. Aquila Rocco Lasoa, who is Sevens Player of the Year multiple times over. Again, dangerous player out the edge. Tone Nig Shui, Dylan Collier, and Andrew Newstub. So I think this is a solid team. I don't know if I consider them to be a gold medal team, but again, it's New Zealand. Even whenever they don't look good, they look great. So you can't ever underestimate what it is they're going to bring in any kind of effort, shape, or form. But I don't have the strongest faith with them. I simply don't. But I think it's going to be a good team. I definitely will. I do think they'll make it into the quarterfinals. Next, you got Japan. All right. Now, Japan Sevens has always had a very interesting history. If you guys recall, 2016 was whenever they beat South Africa in pool play to then subsequently lose to them in the third round match. And that pretty much set off the range of motion for starting to include Japan as a tier 1 nation. They might be a low-end tier 1 nation, but they are a tier 1 nation. And that Rugby Sevens, that Olympic game was a big helper on this. They're going to be led by Captain Kipe Ishida on this, scrappy guy. And then, of course, you have the powerful Fijian Joshua Karedi. You got Yu Okudira. You have Junya Matsumatu, Kazuma Ueda, Yoshiyuki Koga, Kipi Kaninaka, Moeki Fukuishi, Yoshiro Noguishi? I think Noguishi. Forgive me my name pronunciation. Couldn't find them all, but we're going to deal with it. Takamasa Maru, Taiga Ishida, who I think is related to Kipe, and Shitaru Suoka in this one. Again, solid squad. I think if you guys have watched Japan or played in Japan or played against Japan, always a scrappy team. Very quick, very underassuming. Not the greatest tacklers, but again, this is why they got their replacement sevens Fijian in this one. And that usually helps them pretty much. And then lastly, South Africa. And this one was a bid that I think surprised everybody simply because of the fact that South Africa had to win through the repechage, losing to Kenya in the Africa Cup games, which is ironic because Kenya women lost to South African women and Kenya men beat South African men. And subsequently, only one of those two teams made it back into the Olympic Games. So South Africa was a double program. But we know South Africa has always been dangerous. They've always been a very, very talented athletic team. Obviously, they have great rugby knowledge. We know what their 15s teams can do, but their 7s team, I think, has been underestimated, especially because they weren't in the HSBC 7s this year. So, you didn't get a chance to see them play month in and month out, but it is not one that's to be underestimated, and they absolutely ran through the repechage. So let's take a look at who they're bringing in. Obviously, Captain Selvin Davids, who has been multiple times, played with Cecil Africa. I remember whenever he was playing, I considered them part of the Dreads of Doom, which made me love the South African team so much more. They're just so dope to watch on, so powerful. All right, but bringing in with the team, you got Zane Davids, you got Christy Grobler, you got Impy Visser, you got Quinn Nortish, Tristan Lades, Roscoe Specimen, who Roscoe and Selvin David, dangerous combination. Dangerous combination, man. Dangerous. All right. You got Ryan Oosthuizen, Sean Williams, Shelton Van Wyck. Another dangerous combination, man. Dangerous. All right. CV Easy Wapi, Tian Pretorius, and then coming in at Travel Reserve, the Youngling, Katalegu, Latebeli, and then Ronald Brown. Now, looking at this squad, all right, looking at this pool, this one's a tough. All right, this one's a tough because again, we always want to go. New Zealand is going to be automatically in because it's mother freaking New Zealand. It's New Zealand, but I don't think they're as guaranteed as they've been in the past. Now, I do feel like this South Africa team has something to prove. They got a lot to prove, especially because they weren't in the HSBC 7. They relegated out. They didn't win the African Championship. They had to go through the repechage. They've had to go do work to prove themselves to be worthy because this is an indication on their program. Like everybody goes, oh, it's 15 is the main one, 7s is it. No, 7s still plays. The Olympics and the Rugby World Cup are your two biggest elements, the two biggest competitions in rugby. I don't care what anybody says. For an international, for a casual, for what it really means to actually grow the game, Olympics and Rugby World Cup are the two. And South Africa, needs to really show out for the Olympics on this one. And I feel like Selvin David, he's a veteran, older guy. He's out to get blood because he's got to show that he can captain a real team. So I think actually South Africa is going to move on, but it's going to come down to Ireland and New Zealand. And by all intents and purposes, I feel like Ireland at least has been able to play a little bit in HSBC 7, so they have a feel for the games, but it's New Zealand. Like, it's still New Zealand. No matter how much you feel about it, it's still New Zealand. And when it comes down to it, Southern Hemisphere rugby just outweighs Northern Hemisphere rugby. And even though they got Jordan Conroy, I don't think they're going to have the total talent bed to be able to take out New Zealand. Now, I do feel like they're going to get a win out here, outside of just Japan. But I do think that these two are going to be moving on, and Ireland and Japan are going to be the odd ones out in this pool. Olympic Games kick off on for the men's. It's July 24th through the 27th, and then for the women, it's July 28th. July 28th through the 30th, man. So this would be a really interesting one. Definitely catch it out.
We're taking dumplings to a new level.
My name is Belu. I'm here with Health Enhanced Foods, and I want to introduce you to one of our most popular products, dumpling flour. What makes our dumpling flour so popular is that it is a mix of unrefined super flours that create the maximum level of nourishment for your personal dumplings. This is including mixes like buckwheat, sunflower, flax seeds, everything that helps to be able to make your appetite stronger, more fulfilled, and healthier. Including within that, we have no added sugars, so we want to make sure that it is rich in protein, rich in fiber, and rich in vitamins and minerals. Our dumpling flour is diabetic friendly, high in quality gluten-free mixes with no rice. And if you know, you know. There's always a little bit of rice to be able to stabilize it, not here in our dumpling flour. It is naturally nourishing, and of course, it's a great substitute for wheat-based dumplings. With this gluten-free dumpling, you can now make your croissants, you can make your rice dumplings, you can make your dessert dumplings. You can absolutely find this at healthenhancedfoods.com. Go ahead, get yourself a bag, get yourself a pallet, and make sure that you can fulfill for your people and yourself the way that you really deserve it. Don't wait, let's go.